Due to the nature of this episode, we'll be discussing topics that include suicide and political unrest. Listener discretion is advised. Please consider this when deciding how and when you'll listen to this episode. With that being said, let's jump into our exciting episode. Welcome to The Third Act, an educational podcast for entertaining audiences like you.
Theater for the middle class.
I'm your wife, host Gracious.
And I'm your husband, host Jared. We're glad you're here.
Wow, it's super vibey in here.
Very. We have the lights on. I have my brand new candle that I got for Valentine's Day. Bath & Body Works Coastal Cottage, everyone. Get it while it lasts.
We want our house to smell like beach.
You made us hot chocolate. Yeah. February is a weird time of year. We're finishing off our hot chocolate. We're lighting our spring candles, and Valentine's Day decor is all over the room. Go figures.
That's about what's up. But I have my tea. You have your hot chocolate. We're just chilling. It's super nice in here. So that being said, how are you on a scale of melting to sparkling?
I am feeling tippity-tappity.
Tippity-tappity.
And you might wonder why Jared's feeling tippity-tappity. It's because we purchased plywood, turned them into tap dance floorboards, and I've been practicing my tap dancing because I want to be in Drowsy Chaperone this summer, and your boy needs to brush up on his tap skills. So if you are the neighbor that lives above us, I am so sorry. And if you're anyone else in the city, cool. Free show.
They already hate us.
Yeah.
I guarantee. I'm like belting down here at 9 p.m. You don't want to be our neighbors.
Actors do not make for good neighbors.
No, really they don't.
So I'm feeling tippity-tappity.
Tippity-tappity.
Gracious, on a scale of melting to sparkling, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling mellow. In a good way. Mellow yellow. Like the drink. Mellow yellow. Yeah, cool. That's how I'm feeling.
I'll take it.
I'm really exhausted. I've been a little overworked. Of my own free will, by the way. It's been all my choices. But I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm prepping I have an audition in New York on Saturday. And I have an audition convention next week. I'm going down to Tennessee, so that will be fun. And then I'm working backstage on a show, and I'm babysitting, and I'm music directing, and yeah, so I'm spread a little thin, but in the best way. What have you been up to?
Just working, just trying to learn my new job. I am fully into healthcare now. Love my position, love my coworkers. I keep emotionally destroying myself at lunchtime. I am currently rewatching Star Wars Bad Batch. And when it started with season 1, I was like, this is slow. I know what happens later. What I forgot about were all the episodes at the first half of season 2. And it's just boom, heavy hitter to the gut. Boom, heavy hitter. Season 1 hobbled so that season 2 could sprint, and I forgot about that. So I come out of lunch where I was supposed to be taking a break. I'm like, carrying all this emotional weight. Everyone's like, Jared, what's wrong with you? It's fine. It's really fun. It's really well done. It's just a lot.
You're just going through catharsis during lunch, which might not be the best spot.
I know.
the best time to do
that. But I'm so grateful to be back at work being productive. I did unemployment really well.
Yeah, you did.
But really grateful to be back and really grateful for the folks that I'm working with. Got my new Spider-Man suit. Looks amazing. And I'm just in the middle of rehearsals for a production of Secret Garden and a concert version of Carousel.
It's going to be good. I'm really excited
to
see
good.
both of those. Woo! Both of those are on my favorites list. So I'm a little jealous, but that's okay. I'll survive.
What can you do? Hey, speaking of surviving, you have fought tooth and nail to put our episode together for today. Would you like to Share it with us. Yes or no? Ready, set, go.
Yes, I would. To be fair, I didn't fight tooth and nail. I'm just a procrastinator. Full disclosure. I wrote most of this today, but I think it's gonna be good. Okay, today we are talking about Hadestown, the hit musical. It's still on Broadway. It's been on Broadway since 2019. So that means that it has been running for 7 years, 6 years. I can't math.
I am not really much of a numbers guy. Don't look at me.
It's been running since 2019. So that's a pretty lengthy amount of time. Not as lengthy as Phantom of the Opera, but it's getting there. Working its way up.
The rights for the teen edition were released, and every theater in America is doing teen edition Hadestown. Every theater. That is not an exaggeration. If there's a theater, look it up. They're probably doing Hadestown Teen Edition.
So you should definitely go find a local version of Hadestown, the Teen Edition, near you. They have not released the full edition because it's still on Broadway. So that's
and
fair.
Adults can't be
in it. Not yet, anyway. So I want to start out with a little bit of background on the myths. Because as we know, well, as I hope you know going into this is based off of Greek mythology. And some of you may not have been as obsessed with Greek mythology as a kid like I was. So I figure for the members of our audience that may not be as familiar, we're going to give a quick overview of the important players in this story and kind of who they are in Greek mythology, where they come from, important anecdotes. Much of this information comes from GreekMythology.com and Theoi.com. Theoi.com. Please feel free to visit the description below for direct links and information.
Or if you're like Jared, you're just drawing from your extensive knowledge of Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
That too.
That's where I learned all my Greek mythology.
I also want to take this time to say that there are definite spoilers peppered into this episode.
Yes.
But in my defense, this is based on ancient myths. So if you haven't heard the stories, you're kind of living under a rock. But if you really don't want to know what happens in Hadestown, turn back now.
Have we talked about how there's this theory that almost the outline for every story can be traced back to either the Bible, mythology, or fables? Mm-hmm. Like if you go to those three, every outline for every type of story, every story type there is, can be traced back to there.
Yeah.
It's a fun experiment if you're trying to like hash out your story and you're like, this doesn't feel right. What do I need to fix? It's fun. So this show pulls directly from a specific Greek mythology story.
Right. It's actually directly based on a story. It's not even just, sometimes you accidentally base it on something. Mm-hmm. It's same character names, same storyline. Obviously, there are some stylistic differences and interpretations of the characters themselves, but it is the Greek myth.
So this could, if it goes well, create an entire genre of musicals that are just modern retellings of ancient myths, right? It could be like a whole brand. It could be the new Marvel franchise. All we're doing is we're taking ancient myths and turning them into modern musicals. Ready, set, go.
It's not too bad. So writers, get on that. All right, let's talk about the important players in this story. By players, I mean characters. We are going to open up by talking about the Fates. Now, one place that you might recognize the Fates, I think you know this, Jared. Where's the other place you might recognize the Fates from?
From Disney's Hercules.
Mm-hmm. There are those 3 creepy ladies who share an eye. You remember those ones?
Oh, yes, I do.
And they cut the thread of life to end a mortal's life on Earth. Those are the Fates. And by all means, those are qualities of the Fate. That is what the Fates do. They control a mortal's life on Earth, and they decide when they live and die. According to the ancient Greeks, the actions of humans were predestined. Humans did have free will, but the fates knew what was going to happen and brought to pass the ultimate choices and actions of each person. And you can kind of see that a little bit during Hadestown, how she, incorporates that idea.
It's always a tough argument in philosophy. It's like, yes, you have free will, but a greater power knows what's going to happen regardless of, and like, okay, then do you actually have free will? The answer is yes, but you can talk yourself in circles.
Absolutely.
It's an extremely popular topic that people have argued for centuries.
Absolutely. Like, what really is free will? Do we have free will? Who knows? The Fates, also called Moirae.
Moirae. Not Moira.
Not Moira from Schitt's Creek.
From Schitt's Creek.
Moirae. It's just another name for them, I guess. Are 3 individuals who had different
I'm so sorry.
jobs.
Is that Greek? Is that Latin?
It's Greek.
Cool.
I believe. I mean, Greek is based off of Latin.
True.
So.
Okay, cool.
Something like that.
Okay, continue.
They are 3 separate individuals who work together, who have different jobs in bringing to pass the destiny of individual souls. So we'll talk about them briefly, individually. Clothau is the spinner, who spins the thread of life, and she is sometimes referred to as the past, as she is most present in the myths at the birth of a human. She begins that story because she's spinning the thread. So she kind of starts the thread of human life. Lacusus is, I apologize, I'm not Greek. Lacusus is that apportioner of lots, that's her nickname, who measures the thread, determining how long a human could live and how many trials they would face in life. Because consequently, if you live a longer life, you're going to have more trials.
It's
That's
true.
The idea.
Let me take a guess. She often represents the present.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm catching on.
Because she controls what happens throughout a life. And then our third sister, Atrapaus, is the third fate, who cuts the thread of life, terminating the mortal's life. And she is referred to as
the future.
The future.
Nice.
So we have the past, the present, and the future. They do all work together, but that's kind of a way to differentiate them. Her final action, Atropos' final action, decides the circumstances of a soul's death and sends them to the underworld, which is the Grecian version of hell, basically.
So first off, that was really well written, and you explained it very succinctly. This is incredibly satisfying in my brain to hear and piece together, because to me it sounds very clever. I'm like, ooh, good job, writers. Way to tie that in. What actually happened is that these have existed hundreds and hundreds of years before we have, and what the ideas that we have are built off of that.
Yeah.
I'm just learning about it in reverse order. So it sounds clever to me, but it actually happens to sequentially.
Yeah.
Through time. Anyway, it's incredibly satisfying, and I love it. I'm here for it.
You're like, wow, this makes so much sense. And then you realize, it's just a principle that's been around forever. Literally forever. The Fates in Hadestown, however, they play an interesting role because they kind of narrate the characters' doubts and fears.
Ooh, I have a thought.
Yeah?
The thought is, and I have said this several times throughout the past week, musicals do really well when music is used to portray and tell us about a character's feelings. Mm-hmm. They have a hard time talking about things that are going on presently, and they have a really hard time talking about things that have already happened. Like if a song sounds weird in a musical, it's probably because it's talking about an event. It's not talking about a person, and it's not talking about feelings. So that is genius. The Fates commonly narrate a character's doubts and fears, purely feelings. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, they do it in 3-part harmony.
Oh, yes. It's brilliant.
You can't see me, but I'm doing brilliant. Italian hands right now.
Hermes introduces them, who is the narrator of Hadestown, which we'll get to later. He introduces them as 3 old women all dressed the same, always singing in the back of your mind. So the Fates play this antagonizing role in so not only are they just narrating the characters' doubts and fears. They're egging on the characters and validating their fears in a way that causes them to ultimately act according to their fears. So I've been thinking of the fates as the voice in the back of your head, or your anxiety or your fear. That is the role that the fates play. That's it just reminds me of my anxious brain, the way that they speak in the show. They're always thinking of the worst case scenario and always making a choice out of self-preservation. The fates could also be holding a figurative mirror to the audience, reflecting back on them the dangers of human nature, the dangers of listening to that anxious voice. As well as they could be seen as the villains of the story, as like the ultimate villains of the story, because they are conniving the entire time to make the story end exactly the way it does by toying with the characters' emotions throughout and causing them to ultimately make the choices they do. If it weren't for the fates, we probably wouldn't get the ending that we have.
True.
And it leaves you wondering, could the story ever end differently, or was it fated to end the way that it does?
Something I'll have to think about and chew on
as we talk more about it. Those are the fates. Very important. Let's talk about Persephone.
She's so pretty.
She's so pretty. Persephone was one of my favorites. I remember studying Greek mythology because she was always just painted so beautifully, and there were always flowers all over the place. Persephone is the daughter of Demeter, who is the Olympian goddess of harvest, agriculture, and fertility. Persephone herself was titled the goddess of spring, and while she is Demeter's daughter, is also the goddess of fertility, is the goddess of nature, basically. In one Greek myth, she was playing in a meadow with her nymph companions, and Hades, the god of the underworld, sprang up, seized her, and took her down to the underworld to be his bride. Her mother, Demeter, searched for her, and when she found out that Hades had taken her, she refused to let the earth bloom until Persephone was returned. And while Persephone was in Hades' care, she ate 6 pomegranate seeds. Because she had tasted the food of the underworld, she was forced to stay, but because she'd only eaten 6 pomegranate seeds, a compromise was made. She would spend 6 months with Hades as his bride, and the other 6 she would spend on earth with her mother. And this explained to the Greeks the seasons. Spring and summer, Persephone was with them, but when she returned to the underworld in the fall, it got colder and darker.
I love this story. I think it's a great explanation for seasons if you don't know what science and nature is, and lunar cycles. But I'm like, okay, but she sat in the palace and she slept in the bed with the sheets and she used the bathrooms and probably the showers. None of that counted.
Well, I don't know.
It was just the 6 seeds from a pomegranate. It's like, oh, that did you
That'll
in.
do
It's
you
not
in.
that you used the lavender soap. It's not that you looked off the terrace balcony. It was that pomegranate you ate that nailed the coffin in. You know,
Yeah.
It's just funny.
6 whole pomegranate seeds. So now
Yeah.
you have to spend 6 months. Imagine if she had eaten more. She'd eaten 12 pomegranate seeds. She would have never seen the light of day
we
again.
would all be dead. There would be no harvest season and humanity would never exist.
Yeah, that
So,
would be horrible.
thank you, fates, for keeping us alive.
Seriously. So Persephone herself is portrayed very differently in stories. Sometimes people paint her as a victim, having been forced to stay with Hades. That's just occasionally. Most other times, it's a love story, that she fell in love with him as much as he fell in love with her. And sometimes Persephone is portrayed as soft and pure, but sometimes she is seen as dark and hardened, as the queen of the underworld, sitting on a throne beside the heartless Hades.
It does make for a great tattoo.
Yeah. Have you seen a tattoo of Hades and
Oh,
Persephone?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It does. In Hadestown, now we're going back to our musical, Persephone is a complex character.
Why?
Because we see her many, many years after her descent to the underworld. So she's no longer pure and naive. She has been through a lot, and she doesn't
This arrangement has grown stale.
She doesn't seem to be very happy with her plight. When she is up on Earth, she parties with people and she brings light and joy with her, but she is always late going up to Earth, and she always returns early because of Hades' jealousy and suspicion. So there are also issues in that marriage. And this causes the one of the themes of Hadestown is climate change. So that her leaving early and coming late is kind of symbolic of climate change.
I was not expecting you to go there with that, but okay. All right. Let's go.
That is what
I was just going to say, I swear there has been a change. When I was a wee little lad, there were 4 seasons and they were equal in length. What is happening now?
It's climate change.
Yes. It's just like spring and fall no longer exist. Like summer is just many, many months. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. The leaves really don't turn color. Yeah. They just drop.
Spring and fall are like a week each.
Right. And it's
maybe
done. So like we don't get this great big autumn display. We don't get cool days. And then winter, it doesn't even snow. It's just dark and gray and cold for long.
Yeah.
And then one day, everything blossoms, and then it's just green summer, and it's bugs and humidity. And anyways.
So we can blame that on Hades and Persephone and their marriage falling apart.
Come on, guys. Go to marriage counseling. I'm sweating out here. You're killing me.
Another thing that's interesting about Persephone is she does seem to care about those in the underworld and the people above. But because she has numbed herself, she copes by drinking and taking substances.
Aww.
And making sure that they go around. She's sharing. So it's good.
Sharing
At least she's
isn't always
with
caring,
people.
guys. Keep your germs and your nasty habits to yourself.
Anyways, so she kind of numbs herself. So she doesn't make much of an effort to change anything. In her own words, you take what you can get and you make the most of it.
Totally thought you were going to say you get what you get.
It's basically the same idea. It's just a little more poetic.
Yeah.
So she has just accepted her plight and she's just moving forward with that. A little numb.
Make the most of it.
Okay, let's move on to Hades. Hades is one of the 3 great Olympian gods, along with his brothers Zeus and Poseidon. I don't want to tell all of the myth. Hades has been around for a long time, so there are many myths that he's a part of. But long story short, the 3 of them, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, defeated the Titans, who were the original gods, and then they drew lots for the division of the cosmos. Hades received rule of the underworld, and since then, he has rarely left the underworld, one of the only times being the abduction of Persephone. So Hades is, as far as we know, pretty happy with where he is, and just is doing his job down there.
Yeah. Can I just point out for all our nerd friends, it is very easy to say, oh, Hades is the god of death. He's not. We just talked about the fates. That's a different job. He literally just manages the space in which the dead reside. Mm-hmm. He is not himself death. He is not the killer.
Yeah.
He's just the owner of a great grand casino that you get into and you never leave. Hotel California? Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
The owner of Hotel California.
So blame the fates for your death.
Blame the fates.
Not Hades.
Yeah.
An important anecdote to highlight, and something that you need to know before going into Hadestown, is that Hades himself is known as one of the most faithful gods. Faithful to his wife, I mean.
It's true.
The Greek gods were largely known for having numerous affairs with other gods and mortals. They were just all over the place. Right. But Hades was fully faithful to his wife Persephone. There are a couple stories where maybe, but even those stories, they're like, no, it was before he met Persephone. Right. He's largely faithful to his wife, and that is not. And he's without his wife for 6 months out of the year. Mm-hmm. The other gods, they're just doing whatever. But Hades is very faithful to his wife. It is also said that the 2 of them were a powerful, unified team. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that Persephone was under Hades. They ruled together. They co-ruled the underworld. And he shared everything he had with Persephone. And that also is definitely not the norm in the myths about the Greek gods. They are very self-absorbed, very promiscuous. Can you say that about?
Yeah, very.
All over the place.
And
Hades is faithful to his wife and like really cares about her.
And he has a dog.
He does have a 3-headed dog. And they,
So
they just live
he's
in
got
their
the
happy
job,
little...
he's got the girl, he's got the dog. What does he drive? What does Hades drive?
Probably the dog.
What? No.
To just ride the dog?
He probably drives like a black Chevy SUV.
Okay.
Yeah.
An SUV, really?
Yeah.
No, he would
it's
have like
armored.
some sports car with flames painted on it or something.
With blue flames? Okay, Disney.
Meh. I was actually thinking red flame. No, green flames, because
Green.
the river Styx is green, right? Or is that just in my imagination? I don't know.
I did not know that Greek fire was a real actual thing. I totally thought it was just made up fiction. It's a real thing.
That the Grecians had fire?
No, that Greek fire. It's water doesn't put it out.
Oh, no.
So the problem is that it burns on top of water. So they would just like throw it out in the water, and then they're like, "Oh no, my ship's on fire." But the water's on fire. It's very confusing.
That's wild.
And you put it out with sand or urine.
Oh, I think I have heard of that.
Yeah, I thought it was fake. It's real.
It's real. All right.
Look it up.
Contrary to what the myth may imply, like considering that Hades abducted Persephone.
I'm sorry, what are we talking about right now?
We're going back to Hades and Persephone.
Okay, cool. Continue.
I'm talking about the Hades and Persephone myth, like when Hades went and abducted Persephone.
Got you.
Sorry, I went too fast. We could say that he took her against her will. In Hadestown, we are told that Hades and Persephone are truly deeply, madly in love, that they met each other and fell in love. So the whole abduction story is less important in our story. It says that they were truly, deeply, and madly in love, or at least they once were. It is said by Hermes himself that their love made the world go round. In the musical, Hades could be viewed as the main antagonist, but he is an incredibly sympathetic one, because while he is holding the souls of the dead captive, he's only doing his job. Like, really, I mean, like, where are the dead people gonna go? Is he just gonna, like, make an undead arm? You know, I don't know. And while he keeps Persephone longer during the story, like, that is kind of a villainous thing to do, to rob the world of spring and summer. The idea is that he's only doing it because he loves her, and the love has made him jealous.
Sure.
So he's sympathetic.
It is worth noting that musicals do not choose their name by happenstance.
No.
And it's called Hadestown. It's not Persephone Town. It's not Orpheus Town. It's not Hermes. Like, it's Hadestown.
I mean, Hadestown is also how they refer to the underworld.
It's true. It's true. Anyways, I just want to highlight that, like, this is the name of the show. If there's a guy we're going to talk about, if there's a place that's important, it is everything that happens in the underworld.
I mean, he's the one that goes through, I think, the most substantial change in the story that we can see.
I think you're right. I just got really wide-eyed and blinked multiple times at Gracious as she makes a really good point.
What is important to know, during the musical, we are actually made to sympathize with Hades. That is integral. We have to understand that he is a man in love who makes his decisions out of fear that he will lose what he has. So, while he looks like this all-powerful god, things maybe aren't as they seem. Okay. Let's move on to Hermes. Hermes is the Olympian god of, get ready, herds and flocks, travelers and hospitality, roads and trade, thievery and cunning, heralds and diplomacy, language and writing, athletic contests and gymnasiums, astronomy and astrology.
Oh, and mail.
And mail. He's a busy guy. Well, that's what I was about to say. Along with he's the god of all those things, he also serves as a messenger to the gods. And he is the only Olympian capable of crossing the border between the living and the dead, which then gave him another job. You better stop being good at things, Hermes, or you're going to get another job. He got another job. He carries the souls of the dead down to the underworld. Some of his nicknames, which will prove important in the Hadestown story, are the leader of souls, patron of travelers and thieves, shepherd of men, and the conductor. Anaïs Mitchell took the nickname the Conductor literally and chose to portray the way from the mortal world to the underworld as a train, with Hermes serving as the conductor. The actor even has a train whistle to signal the arrival of the train, which is just like a fun job.
Mhm.
As if Hermes doesn't have enough going on, he also does the train whistle, which is fun. In Hadestown, Hermes primarily serves as the narrator. So we were talking about the fates kind of narrating doubts and fears, but Hermes is like the narrator.
So here's the thing. Again, this is where it works well. The fates sing about people's thoughts, fears, and emotions. Hermes narrates events that take places vocally.
Yep.
Through speech. That's a good musical.
It is good. It's very well written. They have everything. So Hermes does take part in some of the conversations. He seems to know Orpheus intimately, and he serves as Orpheus's mentor in a way. But for most of the show, he's just serving the audience by narrating. He also knows what's going to happen. He is the one who prefaces at the start of the show that Hadestown is a sad tale, a tragedy, setting the stage for what comes next. Side note, really quick, before we move on, Hermes is one of the most fascinating gods to read about. He takes part in so many myths.
Truly.
Which we can't delve into today because that would be a whole episode in and of itself. But in your free time, if you feel so inclined, make sure to read more about him because he's cool. I think he's actually like the coolest Olympian god.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I do think it's really funny though that his whole shtick is that I'm really fast, but like you're all gods. You can all transport instantly wherever you want to be in the world and change into anything. So I guess he's faster than instantaneous,
Hey,
I guess.
He's got those feathers on his feet, you know.
This is true.
He's going really fast.
This is true. Which then went on to inspire several of our favorite superheroes. So
yeah.
Anyways, it's just funny.
It is funny. And also, why do they give him so many jobs? The rest of the Olympians, he doesn't even have time to have a love life. The rest of the Olympians are like having affairs with 20 different people,
Literally
and Hermes is like
cannot participate in the Greek orgy because he's the one giving out the invitations.
Yep. He's a busy guy.
What a bum end of the deal.
He really doesn't but he seems to be having a good time in Hadestown anyway.
Yeah.
In the musical. Let's move on to Orpheus. Let's move on to our mortals. Orpheus is the son of a muse.
Ooh.
And is an incredible musician who played the lyre. Fun fact, Jared, do you know who invented the lyre in Greek mythology, not in real life?
I feel like many, many years ago, I was an 8-year-old boy at a library reading a book about Greek mythology, and I feel like it was Apollo that put it together.
You'll never guess. It was Hermes.
Oh, no!
He also created the lyre.
He also created the lyre. Nice.
To be fair, Apollo is the god of music.
Sure.
So he plays the lyre and, but
that's so funny.
Hermes invented the lyre. So as if he doesn't have enough going on, he's also creating new instruments.
An inventor for musical instruments. Very nice.
So in some versions of the myth, this is interesting. Orpheus is of divine descent, his father being Apollo. Who I just said is the god of music, which gave him his musical abilities. But in other versions, he's the son of a mortal king. And then the muse. I mean, being the son of a muse would already give you musical abilities, I feel like. But he did at some point meet Apollo. And Apollo was so impressed by him, Apollo taught Orpheus to play the lyre. And once Orpheus learned the lyre, his musical abilities grew. I feel like if the god of music teaches you music, you're going to be pretty good. You know what I mean?
Have you seen those memes circulating around where it's like King David plays a normal chord and God's like, that's not it. And then David plays a secret chord and God's like, hold up, wait a minute, do that again. Have you seen any of those memes? There's been a ton of them circulating.
That's really funny, though.
They're so funny. Anyways, we're talking about music and gods. That made me think. Anyways, I love the idea that no matter what, in every tale and every story, you need to know Orpheus is really good at music from the get-go.
Yep.
Continue.
Wherever the musical abilities came from, he's known for his music.
Nice.
It was said that no one could resist his beautiful music, that the trees and the rocks even danced around him. He could move Mother Nature herself just by playing. And everyone who heard him play fell in love with him.
Like romantically? Or like care
maybe.
about you a lot? Depends what songs he played.
I mean, that's how Eurydice fell for him, was the music.
Sure.
You know?
I'm just like, there's no way that Homeboy is over here
people
playing
fawning
Wonderwall and
over
he has
him.
like 50 rocks confessing their love.
Have you seen like fangirls though?
I have, but there's a difference between, I don't know where I was going to go with that thought, but anyways, yes.
Just that,
okay.
So they're all fangirls. So the rocks are literally screaming, being like, give us more, you know, waiting for the next single, Orpheus.
Play more of your rock music.
Can you kiss my new album?
Sign my pebble.
Yeah, seriously. Sign my pebble. Yeah. You know?
I digress. Please continue.
He's a superstar.
Okay.
In Hadestown, Orpheus is portrayed as a dreamer. As a lot of musicians sometimes. So we're thinking like the quintessential dreamer, poet, musician. I know you know someone who's like this. Right.
Yes.
Someone who, well, it's actually beautiful. Hermes, in his words, says that Orpheus can see the way the world could be in spite of the way that it is. So you're thinking like young, probably naive, you know, looking for, I think all of us have been an Orpheus at some point in our lives. He's a dreamer. At the start of the musical, Hadestown, Orpheus is working as a waiter at a bar, which is a classic musician side gig. So there we go. And he is working on a song to, in his words, bring the world back into tune, back into time. And across the bar, he sees Eurydice and is immediately smitten. So let's talk about Eurydice.
Really quick before we do, I had to look it up. If Orpheus is the musician, the composer, his Myers-Briggs would most likely be ISFP, because that would make him a composer, highly artistic, and tuned into sensory experiences, and they're often performers. So he would be an ISFP.
Nice.
Yeah, had to look it up.
That's only one letter away from me.
Oh my gosh, you have so much in common.
So much in common.
All right, Eurydice.
Eurydice. Eurydice in the Greek myths is a wood nymph, of whom actually not much is known until she meets Orpheus. Orpheus is like the central character in her myth.
He's the guy.
He's the guy. Eurydice is one of the daughters of Apollo. Don't think about that too hard if Orpheus is also one of the sons of Apollo. And the moment she met Orpheus, she fell deeply in love with him. However, in Hadestown, Eurydice is pictured as a hurt, jaded individual who has been run down by the world. And she has decided that it is best to go at it alone, to not trust anyone, and to do her best to just survive. So when Eurydice in the musical sees Orpheus, she's not immediately in love with him. She's immediately guarded. An interesting line that I think is often brushed over because I've heard the line, but I hadn't really thought about it until doing this research. In the song Anyway the Wind Blows, Hermes says of Eurydice, wherever it was this young girl went, the fates were close behind. What do you think that means?
My very first thought is that this probably implies that she's always just one step away from disaster. If I put
fates cause disaster.
If I put more brain power into it, want to get a little more analytical, I wonder if it means or implies that she is a main character or the main character. Therefore, has the ability to shift and change the story, be a force within the timeline. Therefore, she needs to be followed by the fates to ensure that things don't go awry.
Are you thinking about Loki now?
I am thinking about Loki, but for a different reason.
For a
Anyway,
different reason.
it's so good. If you have
It
not
is quite
seen
good.
Marvel's TV series Loki, please go watch it. It starts off hysterical and leaves you in tears. It's so good. All right, continue.
It is very good.
Disney should pay us for our ad sponsors.
Right?
We're plugging them left and right.
We're really plugging them. In my interpretation, I think what you said is totally true. What I was
I
thinking
think it's true,
initially,
and now I'm going to tell you how I
was
wrong.
just thinking what I was thinking initially. I want to
Yeah.
add on to what you were saying. It's kind of, I think, in the title of the song, Anyway the Wind Blows, that Eurydice is living whichever way that fate takes her. So she's kind of given up on like trying to change things. So Orpheus is actively trying to change the way things are, right? He's creating this song so he can like single-handedly bring the world back into tune. And Eurydice is just accepting that things are the way they are.
Yeah.
And she's just trying to make it through the best she knows how, which is ultimately taking the easiest road to survival. And to be fair, as we all know, if you're in survival mode, you're going to take the easiest road possible.
It's true.
Yeah. And
path of least resistance.
in Eurydice's world, she's hungry, she's cold, she's tired, so she is going to take the path of least resistance. Because in this world, survival has become increasingly difficult because as well as being cold and dark, Earth is barren because Persephone is in the underworld, remember, for more than 6 months out of the year. And all the time that she is there, every time that Persephone goes down to the underworld, the earth isn't in bloom. So no food is growing.
Nothing grows.
It's winter. And it's a very cold winter at that because, remember, climate change.
Climate change. Of course, that thing.
These introductions bring us to where the musical starts and ends, which is the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice.
Yeah.
Jared, in an attempt to quickly go over the basic storyline, spoilers, remember, can you tell us, pretty shortly, in your own words, the Grecian myth of Orpheus and Eurydice that Hadestown is based on, expanding on the knowledge that we already have of these characters?
Please excuse me as I crack my knuckles and get ready to tell you the story. So basically, Orpheus and Eurydice were that couple. Soft launch romance, hard launch wedding. Absolutely thriving. Main character energy. Then, literally days after the wedding, Eurydice goes on a little woodland walk for vibes, and she gets fatally nerfed by a snake. One bite, game over. She gets straight to the underworld, right to jail. Orpheus spirals. Full emotional damage.
Oh my gosh.
No, it is what it is, he says. Bet. And decides to march straight into the underworld and get her back. He pulls up to the bosses, Hades and Persephone, and starts performing. And when I say performing, I mean he drops the most gut-wrenching acoustic set in mythological history. Even the literal rulers of death are in their feelings. Hades is like, okay, fine, you win. She can leave. But there's one rule. Eurydice has to walk behind him, and Orpheus cannot turn around to check on her until they are fully out of the underworld. No peeking, no vibe checks, just trust. Orpheus agrees and starts walking. Total silence, no footsteps, just anxiety and intrusive thoughts. In some versions, he's basically at the exit, sunlight loading screen, and everything. In others, he just can't hear her and starts overthinking. But either way, double hits. And he folds, he turns around, and in that split second, he sees Eurydice fade away, glitch out, gone, sent back to the underworld permanently. Moral of the story? Trust the process, girl. Don't let anxiety win.
I love that you pulled out your Valley Girl voice for that. Thank you.
Thank you. You're like so welcome. Oh my God. Start.
He wrote this just a while ago and it was cracking me up. I was reading it. It was so funny. Great job. Thank you for that, my love.
I did go to theater school.
Yeah? Did you go to playwriting school?
I did.
Took a class. I want to talk for a second before we get into the songs. Why this story? Why did Anaïs Mitchell, the composer of Hadestown, choose this story? In an interview with Steve Marsh for the Mpls St. Paul magazine, link to the conversation is in the description, Anaïs Mitchell says that the Orpheus and Eurydice myth always spoke to her. In her own words, I read it in a children's illustrated book of mythology, and it lodged in my heart forever. So Mitchell took the myth and made it her own, applying it to our world now. She says, for me, Hadestown is a retelling of the Orpheus and Eurydice myth and also the Hades and Persephone story. It leans into industry versus nature and the question of whether or not the world can change. She continues to talk about themes that she saw in the original myth. There's something deeply embedded in this myth, this is her words, both Orpheus and Eurydice and Hades and Persephone about the seasons. Seasons of abundance, seasons of scarcity, youth and hope springing eternal, and then life, the world, aging come along and bring occasions for doubt, fear, failure, and despair. But someone's always coming up behind us with that same old young light in their eyes. That, to me, is the most elemental part of the story.
That is incredibly poignant, especially for all our theater friends in a field that is dominated by seasons of famine and seasons of plenty.
Yeah.
Right? And seasons of abundance. The work is there. You're thriving. Many long hours, many long days, and then all of a sudden, poof, it's all gone. Dry spell, and you're looking for the next thing. That is incredibly poignant.
And Anaïs Mitchell would know that better than anyone. She's a singer-songwriter herself. This I'm excited to talk about. Quick plug for next week's episode. I'm really excited to talk about Anaïs Mitchell because she's really cool.
Yeah.
She has a really cool story, and the story of how Hadestown was developed took over a decade to get developed and to be on Broadway, which is just amazing. So, Hadestown, as she was saying, tells the story of Orpheus and Eurydice in a unique way. She applies it to the way our world is now. I can see in the story that she used it as an opportunity to talk about modern day issues such as, we've already mentioned, climate change, propaganda, dictatorship, and also just the hopelessness we feel watching it all happen and feeling like we can do nothing about it.
Ooh. That's a little too close to home right now.
I felt like this story would hit pretty close to home right now. Orpheus serves as the hero of the story as he can see what must change, and he wants it to change, and he does his best to unite people in empathy and hope, and through the power of the thing he knows best, music. Before we get into the songs, which is next, I promise, I wanted to give a little quick plug. I took a lot of time to read through Anaïs Mitchell's book, Working on a Song, The Lyrics of Hadestown.
That's a clever title.
It is quite literally the lyrics. So it's the entire lyric book with footnotes. Anyway, it's an amazing book. I give it a glowing review.
I was going to ask if you have a star rating.
Oh, it's a 5.
It's a 5 out of 5.
It's a 5.
Okay.
5 out of 5. Yeah, no, it was so fascinating to look into her mind as she was writing these songs.
When are you going to start posting your book reviews? People do that all the time where it's like, here's what I read in a year and here are my thoughts. And I
usually put it on my story like at the end of every year. My personal story.
Hey folks, go check it out.
I mean, it's not the end of the year yet. Go check it out in December, I guess. I guess I could do a monthly book review, but I don't read that many books in a month. I read like 1 in January, so I don't know. Anyway.
That's more than half the world.
All that aside, I give the book a glowing review. Since it is a sung-through musical, I am unable to delve into all 40 of the deliberately written songs. They are beautifully poetic. They are full of gorgeous imagery and symbolism. If you can't read the book, that's fine. At least take 2 hours of your day to listen to the entire Broadway soundtrack of Hadestown, because then you'll kind of understand why I'm fangirling so hard over it. Anaïs Mitchell says everything about the story that I wish I could say. I'm going to, briefly go over what these songs are and what the story is, but she does it in this beautiful, poetic way. She really understands human nature. She just says everything in a much better way than I could. So I'm going to take time to highlight a few of the important songs. I'm sorry if your favorites didn't make it into the list. We can only talk about a few. So yeah, that's my little plug for the album. Please go listen to Hadestown.
Yeah.
All right, let's begin. Let's talk about the songs. Beginning is the song Road to Hell. This is our opening number. This is the introduction and basically introduces all of our major players, which I already did for you.
Hey-o!
I actually went even more in depth than this song goes into. So it introduces the Fates, Persephone, Hades, Hermes, Orpheus, and Eurydice in that order. And it also introduces the hardest working chorus in the God's almighty world.
Followed up by a sweet, sweet trumpet solo.
A trumpet solo and a sweet, sweet dance break.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're breaking it down. So that's how it opens. And then we are introduced to Orpheus and Eurydice, and they meet each other. And Eurydice's a little, nervous about this guy who's kind of pretty forward, but kind of intrigued by him. And then, lo and behold, we hear the sound of a train whistle. Mm-hmm. And Persephone arrives, and it's spring. Yay! We're going to talk about Living It Up on Top next. This song wasn't added until the off-Broadway version of Hadestown. Actually, it wasn't. So it wasn't there. Originally. Mitchell kind of sensed that something was missing. In her own words, we had a mindless industrial world below and an apocalyptic world of poverty above, but there wasn't a lot of indication of the joy of the above ground world. So there wasn't a lot for the audience to imagine the lovers walking back to in their final ascent.
That's important because, and we've talked about this before, you have to set up the audience's expectation of what things are supposed to be like. What circumstances are typical, because when we get a story, we're always catching it at the climax, right? The character might have been around for 5, 10, 20, 50 years before this story happens and takes place, and everything's been normal up until the 2 hours we're watching. So you have to establish what's normal so that we know what's going on when it's different. Mm-hmm.
And we also want to be cheering for them to get back to the world. If the world is so dark,
right?
Why are we wanting them to get back?
Right, and everybody's drinking margaritas, and Hadestown's like, maybe we should stay here.
Right.
Got you.
Yeah, so they're all having a great time. Living It Up on Top shows the joy in the mortal world. Right? This is summertime. It's not wintertime, which is miserable, as we know. We're in it. This joy is brought in primarily by Persephone. We see the goddess of spring in her element. The flowers are blooming, the sun is shining, and she passes around bottles of wine, sharing the bounty with all. So she left her hard drugs at home.
Those were expensive. Here's the cheap stuff.
Here's the cheap stuff. Here's the wine. This is the number in the show where everyone is united in merriment and celebration. You could say it's the calm before the storm. Mm. One of the most important interludes in this song that I want to point out is Orpheus's toast. Yeah. The music has been super upbeat up to this point, and everyone's jazzing. It cuts out, and a hush breathes over the audience as Orpheus raises his glass and says, "To the world we dream about, and the one we live in now." Mm. And then everybody gets chills all up and down their spine. This line is very well known, and it establishes Orpheus's character as the dreamer. He is the one who can see the beauty in the world and can find hope in the days to come. Mm. When some people have lost hope, Orpheus still has it, and he still thinks the world is beautiful. So they're still partying, and then the lovers step aside to sing our next song. Jared, would you like to do this one?
Yes, because I get to be a participant in
I decided that you didn't want to hear my voice the whole time. So here's Jared explaining.
We're going to take a little bit, folks. Let me walk you on. Let's take a stroll together. Walk you on down. All I've ever known. This song is Eurydice's opportunity to show her vulnerability. This is a side we haven't seen of her before. Right. She puts all her trust in Orpheus and gives herself fully to him. And he does the same. This is the song when our lovers become one. So much so that we, the audience, are offered an instrumental interlude where they share an intimacy in a choreographical type of way, if you will.
Yeah, it's not horribly explicit. It's beautiful, actually.
Yeah.
It's this beautiful
It's what an
dance.
excellent use of dance, right? Because
Truly.
again, it's the staple of music, of a musical. First we talk, and when we can no longer talk, we sing, and when we can no longer sing about how we feel, we dance.
One of the
It's
things
a perfect progression.
Anaïs Mitchell was saying about the song, sorry to take over for a second,
go
is
for
that originally, before this song was added, the lovers were just a little too naive, and she really wanted to give them a little more knowledge of the world, and part of that was allowing them to make love and to like really understand love and what it is, and we had to show that in order to see. Anyway,
it's a thin line between having your characters be two high schoolers that hold hands, we're like, we're in love,
right,
and creating rated R content. It's a really thin line.
It's not rated R by any means.
It's not. It's
not even close.
I'm just saying, when done well, it's very tasteful.
One
right?
of the most gorgeous dance breaks ever, and it's not horribly explicit. Sure. Anyway, continue.
No, thank you. So, this is the moment in the first act when they genuinely express love to each other, and they are completely and unreservedly honest. Eurydice expresses that she has feelings of being lonely and cold her whole life, but finds in Orpheus that she is surrounded by sunshine, warmth, and hope, the thing that she was looking for. Orpheus expresses that he has feelings of being lost in the world, but finds in Eurydice a friend and a place to belong, the thing he wants. To prove this to us, his poetic line is, I knew you before we met, and I don't even know you yet. All I know is you're someone I have always known. Ugh, how beautiful.
He's a poet.
And then they promise each other that they will stay with one another, and it will always be like this. That, my friends, is a perfect setup for foreshadowing what is to come.
Because if someone says it'll always be like this,
odds
are not always
it's
going to be
not
like
gonna
that.
be like that.
It never lasts.
Between this song and the next, Persephone leaves, and it becomes dark and cold again. In chant, many things happen. Orpheus is working on his song obsessively. Eurydice feels alone again, and she doesn't know how to go on. Persephone and Hades argue, and Hades leaves to persuade Eurydice to come down to the underworld with him, supposedly to make Persephone jealous. It is at this point in the show that Eurydice must make a decision.
Leading to our next song that I'd like to talk about, When the Chips Are Down, leading into Gone, I'm Gone. Remember when Hermes said of Eurydice, wherever it was this young girl went, the fates were close behind?
I do remember.
The fates in this song are in, like, right behind Eurydice. They are trying to convince Eurydice to take this ticket to Hadestown that Hades has just offered her and to never look back. So Hades at this point is, like, given Eurydice an opportunity to go down to Hadestown and basically promises that there she won't be cold, she won't be hungry. None of those things that she's experiencing right now will be that way. The fates then reiterate to Eurydice her doubts and fears, as they do best, that she can't trust anyone but herself, that she must put herself first. And Eurydice, in her mortal weakness and her hunger and exhaustion, agrees with them. Because what you gonna do when the chips are down? Am I right? And then Eurydice allows Hades to lead her down to the underworld. When the Chips Are Down is iconic because of, well, first of all, that like 3-part, really tight harmonies.
Really
the bass
tight.
line is like, it's so good. At the choreography, this is when we like really see the fates moving together. And they're like scary. It's scary. It's the first time that we really see them become antagonistic. They're seeming to mock Eurydice with her own thoughts and needs. They are not the good guys around here. So after the fates convince her, Eurydice makes that decision to sign her life away and travel to the underworld. Her doubts and fears echoed back to her through the fates. They get the better of her. Quick tidbit about Gone, I'm Gone. Eurydice's short melody following When the Chips Are Down. It was originally written as an intro to the song, but it was later changed to an outro to build up the drama and to give the fates a reason to sing the song, to try to convince Eurydice. Because when it was before, they weren't really convincing her of anything. Right. Like she'd already made up her mind. Right. So because they moved that, she doesn't make up her mind until after they convince her.
Ah, very nice.
So that's fun.
It is at this point in the show where I would love to put on my psychology hat and say that once upon a time, when I was a little naive boy, I never understood why people could be tired and fed up of life. Because I'm like, what? Star Wars is amazing. Legos are incredible. Chicken nuggets will always be there.
Chicken nuggets won't always be there.
I've grown a little bit, and I've learned since then. And I have a lot of sympathy for individuals who feel that there is nothing left for them in the world, and that they and the people they know and love would actually be happier if they were not here in this life. I can understand where that thinking comes from, because the world that we've built is so complicated. It is so convoluted, and we are often sold promises by our leaders that are then not kept. Mm-hmm. And it's incredibly difficult. The fact of the matter is, this life is worth it, and we will always be better when we have you with us, right? So it is always worth talking to a friend, talking to a family member, talking to a trusted adult about what you're thinking and feeling, because life does get better.
It does.
But to the individual who is in the thick of it, I feel you. I hear you. You're not alone. Many others have walked that road before, and many others will walk it afterwards.
So true. Thank you. Thank you for that. So Eurydice goes down to Hadestown.
Yeah.
And then Orpheus finds out that she's gone and asks Hermes where she went. And Hermes is like, sorry, bro. She's gone.
She gone, dude. She gone.
But Orpheus decides, in his beautiful, hopeful way, that he's going to go after her.
Yeah.
And he sings Wait for Me, which is probably the most iconic song. It was performed at the Tony Awards. It's the quintessential Hadestown song.
It's trending on TikTok.
Oh, yeah. It's trending on TikTok. It was for a while. Anyway, on my TikTok. Wait for Me.
I was really loud. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Wait for Me was the first song that was written in the entire show. Anaïs Mitchell said that she was driving in the car one day. Also, she hadn't even come up with the idea for Hadestown yet, when these lyrics and the melody that we know and love came into her head. Wait for me, I'm coming, in my garters and pearls. With what melody did you barter me from the wicked underworld? Isn't that beautiful?
I swear the world's best musicals are written in the shower and driving in your car. I swear.
It's crazy. She was in the book. Little tangent for a second. She was talking about how she would get ideas for these songs, and often they were like in a dream or after a nap or while she was driving. I was like, that's great. Like, those are some inspired people.
I could never be a writer because I'm the kind of person where, I put stuff in my calendar. So I would say from 2 to 4, I'm going to write. I could not be the kind of person who's like, and then while I'm waiting for my food at Wendy's, I'm going to write the opening lyrics to my hit musical. Yeah. I could never.
You just have to be ready at all times. I've heard that a lot of artists will carry notepads around with it. I mean, now we have our phones, so they don't need notepads. You
just have to be ready.
You just have to be ready for inspiration at any given point. So these initial lyrics that I just read, they never actually made it into the show, except for Wait for Me, I'm coming. They came up as the 19-year-old Mitchell at the time was thinking about her own love life. She was dating the man who was eventually going
19?
to become her husband.
I've been picturing like a 57-year-old woman.
Remember, Hadestown took over a decade.
Okay. Okay.
So when Hadestown went to Broadway, she was in her 30s.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
But when the idea started. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Please continue. But I was still much younger than I am for putting together musicals.
Right. I'm excited to tell you more about it's so cool, the development of this story. At the time, 19-year-old Mitchell was dating the man who was eventually going to become her husband. But she wanted to become a touring singer-songwriter. Mm-hmm. And she kind of felt that she was asking him to wait while she figured some things out, while she traveled around doing these things. So it came from her heart, but she found it curious that the lines also pointed pretty directly to the story of Orpheus and Eurydice that she loved as a little girl.
Yeah.
And then the idea to write this folk opera came.
Yeah.
So then she started on the folk opera. So Wait For Me, the song originally ended on a suspension. There was no button at the end.
Okay.
But the team who was working on it in London, prepping it for Broadway, realized that they needed not only an 11 o'clock number, but they needed one of Orpheus's songs to end on a button.
Oh, so they had a chance to applaud for the hero.
So the audience had a chance to applaud for the hero. Yep.
Yeah. Folk music doesn't always have the strongest of buttons. More often than not, It generally just leads to the next thing. And
they just kind of lead right into each other.
Ah.
But Broadway music
you need a chance
buttons
to applaud.
So
I think it's so funny. There are so many arbitrary rules that we never think about as an audience member watching the show, but in writing it, no, there are guaranteed recipes that will find you the fame and success you're looking for. Obviously, you can always break those if intentionally. Unintentionally, you will be seen as an amateur. So there are these rules you have to, we have to put in an 11 o'clock number. It's important for the audience, right? Anyways, so funny.
Yeah, it is funny. So those are some fun anecdotes about the song.
Yes, Orpheus.
But we're back in the story. So through this song, we see Orpheus's journey to the underworld. He has to go around the back because he doesn't have a ticket. Because in order to go to the underworld, you need a ticket to go on the train. Because it's a train.
He has to go around back. Around the back of the town?
I don't know how.
Okay.
Hermes really in the song actually explains exactly how to get there. So if you want to go to the underworld, go listen to that song.
Okay.
He'll explain how to go. Back to Wait For Me. Orpheus is going around the back. So in order to do this, in order to get to the underworld, he moves rocks and stones with his song, his beautiful song. He overcomes trials, which Hermes guides him through. Are these the
same rocks that are infatuated with him? That we talked about earlier? Okay, cool.
Because he sang to them.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah. This is also the first time that we see the fates interact with Orpheus. They ask him, where do you think you're going? Who do you think you are? And who are you to think that you can walk a road that no one ever walked before? See, they're just taunting. They're so mean. They're just taunting him the whole way. They're representing his doubts, that they will reiterate to him his worst fears. But instead of giving in to his worst fears like Eurydice did. Okay, well, the next song is all yours. This is the last song in the first act.
Why we build the wall? Welcome to my video essay. Why do we build the wall? Just for your information, this song was written before Donald Trump and his followers coined the phrase, and was also written slightly before Shrek the Musical, where he sings "Gonna Build a Wall." So do with that information what you will. Why We Build the Wall is the song Hades sings to his workers. It's written as a sort of call and repeat, typical of songs sung by the working class to synchronize large movements, and is supposed to be a reflection on how dictatorships work and on how powerful propaganda can truly be. Anaïs.
So close, I know.
Second-guessed myself. Anaïs Mitchell noticed that the meaning of this song changes as the world continues to evolve.
Isn't it interesting that she wrote it before,
years ago,
everything went down with the, the wall movement?
Right.
That's crazy.
Truly.
She's a little psychic.
Hades convinces his workers that the wall keeps them free by keeping out the enemy. The enemy being poverty. But if they ever stop working to enjoy their freedom, that's when poverty creeps in and the walls start to come down. So it's a perfect vicious cycle, a problem created by themselves. We learn that the underworld is like a factory or a warehouse, like you said, Gracious. Hades is the foreman and the workers keep it all running by working on the wall, and they seem to be brainwashed. This song finishes off Act 1. Anything you want to say, or should I keep going?
I mean, Wait For Me was originally the end of Act 1, but they felt like they needed to introduce the underworld first, and also...
you know what? That's fair. I would have done the same thing. I would have had
Right.
Wait For Me be the end, but this... it sets up the place so that Act 2 starts with people in action,
Right.
not with establishing. Like a lot of old musical, think Rodgers and Hammerstein, Act 2, they always have to do the establishing first, and it just kind of slows down your pace. So that's actually
So
really
they did
smart.
have to, change some of the ending of the song to
Sure.
make it big, and then the end of Act 1 really is Eurydice going into Hades' office.
Yeah.
And then Persephone saying, "Anybody want a drink?" And then there's a bump.
Yeah.
Lights go down. And that causes some laughter among the audience and sets us up for Our Lady of the Underground, which is the opening song in Act 2.
Hey, that was a good segue. Good job. Our Lady of the Underground, kicking off Act 2, where we learn more about who she is and how she interacts with the workers.
Who Persephone is. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. We continue to follow the story from the underworld. Eurydice joins the workers and realizes that by agreeing to stay in the underworld, by signing the papers Hades gave her, she signed her life and autonomy away. She is now destined to slave away with the rest of the workers for eternity, and is slowly losing her sense of self until it's completely gone. She sings the devastating Flowers song, calling out for the one she left behind to find her. Lo and behold, who arrives but Orpheus in the underworld, having survived his journey. After a brief reunion, Orpheus and Eurydice turn around to find Hades, who is surprised to find someone in the underworld who is not authorized to be there. He tells Orpheus that Eurydice belongs to him now after willingly signing papers, and that, despite his pleas, she will be remaining in the underworld. Hades encourages the workers to gather around to see what happens to intruders, and, in a choreographed fight, Hades orders the workers to attack Orpheus.
Not horrible.
Truly.
So horrible.
I love the idea of him standing there with a clipboard, be like, last name, yep, you're not on my list.
You're not supposed to be here. It helps that in the musical, everyone else is dressed the same. All the workers, including Eurydice, are dressed exactly the same.
And he's not.
And Orpheus comes in with this red scarf, and he's like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah. Again, actually not again, because we haven't said this before. Hadestown does a really good job at utilizing muted tones a lot, so that anything that's not a muted tone stands out really well.
Yeah.
Persephone comes out in her green dress, and we go, you're not like the other ones. Hades comes out in his crisp suit. You're not like the other people. Orpheus is in his bright red scarf, like you said.
Yeah.
That's what I call good design.
It is good design. It is good. So at this point, Orpheus is completely beaten and broken down.
He didn't win the fight. He gets beat up.
No,
he
gets.
I don't know.
Totally,
I just assumed that. Oh, he's the hero. Of course, he comes out on top.
He gets totally brutalized.
Oh
okay?
no, buddy. Does he get a black eye?
Kind of. I mean, they have like actual makeup
Sure.
where he's like bleeding and like has bruising and
that's
stuff.
so good.
It is cool.
Oh.
It is cool. I'd like to talk about Nothing Changes and If It's True, which Nothing Changes leads into. So he's completely brutalized, And to make matters worse, the Fates come on in and decide to taunt him. Decide to
They
tell
want a
him
piece of the action.
they want a piece of the action. They decide to tell him that he ought to stop trying because he's always bound to lose. That no matter what he does, nothing will ever change. Which, like I'm saying, sounds like my anxious voice in the back of my mind. That is what the Fates are at this point. So Orpheus, absolutely devastated by these thoughts that he's having, by these like horrible women who are just taunting him all the time.
Yeah.
And that he's like physically broken down as well, sings, "Is this how the world is?" He expresses that if what the Fates say is true, he'll turn around and go back the way he came. That if what they're saying is true, he won't be here. If there is no hope and nothing will change, he will give it all up.
I understand his thought process. I have to do a quick little plug-in.
Well, but he's not, he works through it.
Right.
You have to wait for him to work
I was just
through
saying.
it.
So like, yes, I understand in that moment. He's like, oh, this is so hard. Is this how it is? I'm just going to give up. Like, okay, but you are in a hard place. You are in Hadestown. This is not a happy place. This is not normal. I bring this up partially because I was having a conversation with a coworker today where she was describing a very difficult situation. She's like, I don't know. I'm just not, I don't feel like I can do it. And I pointed out that like, this is not normal. This is not every day. This is not a regular expectation. This is you striving for something more, for something better, for something greater. So of course it's going to be hard. That means it's worth having. If it was easy, everyone would have it and then it wouldn't be worth anything. That's a quote I learned in Eagle Scouts.
Sure. But
So,
that's moralizing. If you were to say to him
is.
at this moment, I don't think he would take it very well.
Anyways, so I understand his doubts and fears. He's doing something essentially that's never been done before. I think there's like maybe 3 characters in Greek mythology who went down to Hades, the underworld, and then came back, right? This is an incredibly difficult task. Anyone would have crippled by now. The fact that the only thing he's doing, he's like, I'm a little tired, I'm a little beat up, and I'm kind of having doubts, is incredible.
Yeah.
This is truly a hero striving, and we're catching him at rock bottom.
It is.
Okay, continue.
So the workers start to listen as he begins to get himself out of this rut.
Oh, snap.
As he begins to get existential and thoughtful, and he fights back.
Yeah.
But who are they to say what the truth is anyway?
Fights
he says.
back.
He buoys himself up.
Like physically fights
No.
back? Or, oh, okay.
No, fighting
resisting
back.
the fates.
Resisting the fates. Resisting the fates,
Nice.
resisting those thoughts. He buoys himself up by reminding himself what he really does believe. If there is a will, there is a way. And if everyone stands together, they will become the many against the few who make the rules. And he begins to inspire the workers with his words, and they start to rally around him with the belief that things can change for the better. So now Orpheus is like this major political leader who is like influencing all these people around him.
Can you imagine the workers? They're all like, we just beat this kid up, but actually he's making some good sense.
Making some
Sorry,
good
I
points.
punched you in the nose, buddy.
No, for reals. And he, like, as we can see, Orpheus is the one who can make change just by his words.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Is a
It's
talent.
not because he's a sweet talker. It's not because he's
No,
cunning.
it's
It's because he speaks the truth.
It's because he's honest, and
He's
it's
honest.
because
Okay.
he has hope.
Mhm.
Like, he's talking to these people who have lost all semblance of hope
Sure.
and all semblance of like what is to come. And he's
able
looking
to recall and bring that back.
he's looking at the future with hope, which no one in this town is doing, right? Because remember, the mortal world is messed up as well as the underworld. Like, no one's having a good time. But Orpheus, while maybe he's not having a good time either, is able to see what the world could be and inspires people for change. Anaïs Mitchell in her book says about this song that it was important that Orpheus not only struggle against the way the world is, but also struggle toward the way it could be. And I think that's beautiful. If It's True is my current favorite song in the show because I think it depicts really well the political undertones in Hadestown, and I find myself relating to it quite often these days.
Yeah.
Personally.
So, Persephone hears Orpheus's song and is touched by it. She approaches Hades and asks him to let Eurydice go. She appeals to his sensibilities with the simple words, "He has the kind of love for her that you and I once had." The couple hears the workers rising up, and Hades enters to quell the riot, but, softened by his wife's plea, he tells Orpheus to sing his song, challenging him to touch his hardened heart. Then, Orpheus finally sings the song he's been working on in its finished state. It tells, It tells of Hades and Persephone's love story. It moved rocks and stones, and it can also move the rock-hard heart of Hades, the king of the underworld.
For the record, I'm doing a full breakdown of this song and the other epics in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that.
Will do.
I didn't want to touch on it this time because I'm going to talk about it later.
The song compels Hades to dance with Persephone, and as they remember the love they once had, Orpheus and Eurydice exchange promises that they will never leave each other again. Because of the empathy Orpheus showed in his song, comparing Hades' love for Persephone with his love for Eurydice, Hades understands him completely.
I love that they literally use the principle that you can't fight hate with hate. You have to fight it with love.
Yeah.
I think that's really beautiful. That the only way that he's able to break down Hades' walls is to see him as a human being and talk to his sensibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this then transitions into Word to the Wise / his kiss, the riot. There's a lot that happens. Bear with me. Let's go through this together. So Orpheus asks if he and Eurydice can go. Hades answers, "I don't know." In the song, Word to the Wise, the Fates call back to when the chips are down and lay out some options for Hades. They point out that if he says no and sends Orpheus away, he will be seen as heartless, and Orpheus will become a martyr. But if he says yes, the workers will see him as weak. Either way, he'll have an uprising on his hands. But the Fates, in their wisdom, or in Hades' wisdom, that's tough to say, Hades' wisdom, since they're echoing his thoughts, finish with a word to the wise, that men are foolish. To quote them, give them the rope, and they'll hang themselves. In his kiss, the riot, we at last see Hades' true and inner thoughts as he figures out what to do about this situation. He starts off by cursing Orpheus and how he has single-handedly changed things in the underworld and is taking away his control among his workers. Then he comes up with a plan. Orpheus and Eurydice can leave under one condition. Eurydice will follow behind him, and Orpheus cannot look back. Otherwise, Eurydice will go back to the underworld. He knows how men are, how he is. He says, nothing makes a man so bold as a woman's smile and a hand to hold. But all along, his blood runs thin, and doubt comes in. Doubt comes in.
Orpheus ultimately turns around. Eurydice gets sent back to Hadestown, and Orpheus lives the rest of his days on Earth alone. The show ends with a Road to Hell reprise, where everyone returns to their opening places, and the show seems to start again. Everyone moving forward with hope that maybe it'll turn out this time. So they just are telling the story over and over again. So it kind of ends on a hopeful note, but as Hermes warned, it's a sad tale, it's a tragedy, and it's almost more devastating that they're starting it over again because it's just going to end up the same way. So something interesting that I want to discuss before we end. I've seen a lot of discourse online about Orpheus turning around to look at Eurydice. So something that I've heard often is that there can be no version where Orpheus doesn't turn around to look at Eurydice. Because Hades knew that. because if Hades was in Orpheus's place, he would look back at Persephone. So the argument is that Orpheus will always turn back to look at Eurydice, because if he didn't turn back to look at her, he wouldn't love her. What do you think about that?
I think it's true. I think this is a situation, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right? It's a zero-sum game, folks. In this story, our hero is always going to lose no matter what happens. Right.
I mean, you can think about it and be like, well, maybe his doubts don't get the better of him, but I don't know that it's his doubts, it's his concern for his lover, you know? And we can all feel that. Like, when you have such concern and care for someone, you're always going to check on them.
And the reason that he lost Eurydice in the first place was due to his neglect.
Yeah.
In an attempt to make sure that he's keeping his promise and ensuring that he's taking good care of the love of his life.
Right.
He will always look back.
He will always look back. So whether or not the fates get involved, which they will, because they always do, the idea is that Orpheus will always turn back to look at Eurydice because he loves her. And if he didn't turn back to look at her, their love wasn't true to begin with.
Right. It's enough to make a grown man cry.
It is really beautiful. It's more beautiful when you listen to the music or when you see the production.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody, for joining us in our discussion of Hadestown. I can't wait to delve. I've already mentioned it like 3 or 4 times in this episode. I cannot wait to dive into Anaïs Mitchell and Hadestown's journey to Broadway next week. So tune in for that. Tune into the rest of the March episodes. We're going to talk about the epics and maybe a little something special on the 4th week.
Yeah.
Folks, if you enjoyed what we had to say, give us a like.
If you enjoy what we're making, give us a follow.
If you think what we have to say could be enjoyable for someone else, give us a share.
We hope you'll join us next week. In the meantime, we know that some of you have auditions, rehearsals, or maybe some performances to go to. So go do something in the sunlight and
break
a
leg.
And I don't know, punch the fates in the nose. I don't know. Give them a stern talking to.
They're the worst. The whole